This trade is perfect for the Miami Heat. After a brand new article suggests a mock trade involving this Miami Heat team in rival Boston Celtics for star point guard Jrue Holiday, I'm here to break down why this trade would be perfect for the Miami Heat. Not only in fit, but also to make a very, very good rival worse next season. I'm here to break down the mock trade and really how great this would be for Miami, all on this episode of Heat Digest. But first, before we get to the news and information, please do remember to subscribe to the channel, as nearly 80% of you guys watching this video are not currently subscribed. We do appreciate the love and support, so thank you guys. But now let's get to it and break down how this would be a perfect match for Miami. Now, the idea that Jrue Holiday could be a part of this Miami Heat organization is nothing relatively new, as this has been a topic of conversation for years now. Offseason after offseason, Jrue Holiday is one of those names, when available, that is always connected to this Miami Heat team for one reason or another. Now, there is no argument that Jrue Holiday would not be a perfect fit in Miami. And the reason I say that is not only because of the skill set and really mentality, as he's a defender first in a lot of ways, but also he's really a utility man. He can do anything. He can defend 1 through 4, really, depending on the matchups. He's a great defender inside and outside, on the perimeter and inside the painted area. He has a great ability to defend all the positions that you can really match him up against. And as well as that, he's not bad offensively. He gets overlooked a lot because of the surrounding pieces he finds himself having, whether it's in Boston or if it's in Philly or in New Orleans or, again, wherever he finds himself. He's always been very productive and a very good guard. He's able to do a lot of things very, very well. Also, he's been in the league for a long time, and a lot of people think Jrue Holiday, and they immediately think the Pelicans tenure, as well as even the Boston or even Milwaukee tenures that he has had. But if you go back and watch him back in Philadelphia, back in the early 2010s when he was drafted, he was phenomenal. And he has been a great player for a long time in this league in a bunch of different locker rooms. He not only is a great player in the sense of skill, but in the sense of leadership and overall being a veteran in this league, he clears a lot of other candidates that could fit in on this Miami Heat team, as well as just being a great mold for the culture that has already been established for decades with this Miami Heat organization. I think based off of player in the sense of what he brings, and again, speaking about Jrue Holiday here, he is a perfect fit in Miami. Now let's break down the article that even suggested this trade involving the Boston Celtics and rival Miami Heat. Now it's titled Miami Heat Acquire Two-Time NBA Champion in Blockbuster Trade Proposal, and this was written just a few days ago by Sean Jordan on Sports Illustrated. Now, in this article, it goes on to give a brief summary of really who Jrue Holiday is and then who the players are that Miami would be sending back to Boston in exchange for Jrue Holiday. And this is the actual mock trade they present. It goes on to say a trade between the Miami Heat and the Boston Celtics could resemble, and then it says the Heat would then receive guard Jrue Holiday in a 2028 first-round pick. And then going back to the Celtics, it would be guard Terry Rozier, forward Hayward Highsmith, in a 2028 first-round pick. So the Celtics and the Heat would trade and swap 2028 first-round picks. And then in the sense of player assets, Jrue Holiday would be coming to Miami in exchange for guard Terry Rozier and forward Hayward Highsmith. Now, to nitpick this actual mock trade, getting rid of Terry Rozier in this deal would be an A-plus move from the Miami Heat. There has to be a way where the Miami Heat are able to move someone in Terry Rozier, who we just watched last year, completely and totally fall apart. Now, obviously, when he was acquired a trade deadline ago for this in this Miami Heat organization from the Charlotte Hornets, there was a lot of optimism because, again, on a bad team in Charlotte, Terry Rozier was a problem. 20-point plus per game scorer, had an ability to handle the basketball and facilitate at a high level. Pat Riley and the rest of this organization thought if they go out and get such a skilled player who played with Boston as really not in a starting role, someone who was giving them minutes off the bench at certain times and really being a plug and play player, could fit in great with this Miami Heat organization with the current assets they already had. Obviously, that did not work. Terry Rozier is just, he flat out has not had that great of a run with the Miami Heat. And it doesn't take a lot to watch, or it doesn't take watching a lot to really understand and know that, as again, he was really, the not beat around the bush here, he was dreadful in his tenure in Miami. So to move him would be phenomenal for this Miami Heat team, and I think it would lift a lot of pressure off of this Heat's team's back because, again, having Rozier on the roster takes minutes away from Devion Mitchell. It holds up another roster spot and more cap room that this Miami Heat team could go out and really use to acquire other big name stars in order to be a better competitor in the Eastern Conference and really the league as a whole next season. If you look at Terry Rozier's contract, obviously we just ended the 2024-2025 season, so we'll be in the 25-26 season following, and that is the last year under contract for Terry Rozier, which could be appealing to some teams. Now, Jrue Holiday's contract situation does not play out the same way. Obviously, Holiday is in the second year or going into a second year of a 4-year deal, which is worth $134.4 million that was given to him and awarded to him by the Boston Celtics. Now, yes, is it a bit steep in the sense of price? Absolutely, especially for someone who is now getting up in age in Jrue Holiday. Obviously, next year will be his age 35 season. But again, you are buying a bit of the leadership and veteran presence that he maintains with that contract, which is totally understandable. And if you're not trying to use him in 82 games for 40 minutes a game, he could definitely be a reliable piece later in the season for this Heat team and really any competitor in the league, and really any team for that matter, that is attempting to build either young guards in their abilities or just, again, trying to be a competitor. He could legitimately be a substantial piece, either for leadership reasons, being a role model, or flat out putting wins on the score sheet because of his overall abilities on the floor. I think Jrue Holiday would be a match made in heaven for this Miami Heat team for all things considered that we've broken down on this video already. I would love to know what you guys think about Jrue Holiday possibly being in Miami. What are your opinions on it? Do you think it would work? And if it does work, what would you be okay with giving up in exchange for someone like Jrue Holiday? And do you think this trade package is acceptable not only for the Celtics but as well as obviously for this Miami Heat organization? It would be really tough to see Haywood Highsmith go to Boston because, again, we've watched what he's been to this Miami Heat team, a 3-and-D type of player. When he is hot, he is scorched from behind the three-point line. Obviously, he's not shooting a lot off of the dribble. He's not setting up his own opportunities here. But again, on the catch-and-shoot type of shot, Haywood Highsmith has the ability to be lethal behind the three-point line, as well as being an absolute locksmith, if you will, on the defensive side. He has great defensive abilities. We've seen it against the top-rated guys in the entirety of the league. Regardless of the situation, Haywood Highsmith has been a substantial and legitimate piece to the defense of this Miami Heat organization for the last 2+ years. And again, that would be the most substantial piece to watch go in this trade because, again, watching him go to Boston, we would then have to see him at minimum 4 times during the regular season and then plus the playoffs if the Heat did match up against the Celtics, which seems inevitable year after year as, again, it just seems like we match up with them every time the Heat actually make the playoffs. So, again, I love the idea of this trade. It's going to be hard to watch Haywood Highsmith actually walk to such a good team in the Celtics and improve them defensively as another wing that fits alongside someone like Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. And that those 3 guys in the same lineup on the floor at the same time terrifies me for so many reasons, especially the defensive capabilities. But again, to see Rozier be able to go and the Miami Heat improve with a legitimate guard that will use night in and night out, not only on the floor but in the locker room, on the bench, coaching, in a lot of different facets, Jrue Holiday would be a substantial piece to this Miami Heat organization. That'll be it for this episode of Heat Digest. Thank you guys for watching. And again, please let us know down below what you guys think about this mock trade. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys on the next one.